Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. So obviously you guys have already seen the Ermac trailer. It's already dropped. I'm a little bit late to the party, but I wanted to give my thoughts and feelings on this trailer, and I wanted to let you guys know how I felt about Ermac in general, my history of Ermac. So Ermac used to be one of my main characters. So this was one of the characters that I was more interested in seeing Mortal Kombat 1 bring back. Even though I've been highly critical of the game, I thought let me give them a chance and let me see what they do with Ermac. Now, one of the biggest criticisms that people had for Ermac in this game, basically his general design. Ermac without his mask is just weird, and I think people let NRS know that. And this trailer really shows the power of complaining. People complained in abundance, and I know people attribute my channel to being one of the biggest complainers when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, but I gotta say, I really do think NRS listened to our complaints. We hated how Ermac looked. Basically everybody was in unanimous agreement that he looked stupid, and it looks like they listened. He looks infinitely better than when we saw him on that screen with the other DLC characters. Now, I'm very happy to say, and the reason that I'm making this video, where I don't usually make reaction videos to trailers, is that I think the design of this version of Ermac is fantastic. So I'm going to go from the top down, and I'm going to give NRS their props because I've been super critical of them, super harsh to the point where if they even step out of line a little bit, you know that I'm going to be on here flaming them. But I watched this trailer about 3 or 4 times to really get an idea of what I'm looking at, and I've got to say that in terms of utilizing Ermac's abilities, you know, he's the guy that has all of the souls, he's the guy that is supposed to be many people. I think that they did a fantastic job. So we'll start from the top on what I found the most appealing about him. First of all, Ermac has always been like a very ghostly character to me, and so it never really made sense for him to be super beefy in my opinion. And the way he looks in this game is almost like he is malnourished. He looks like a spectre, he looks like the undead. I think that more slender look actually lends itself to Ermac, so I commend them for going down that route. I commend them for giving him a very ghostly look, very, you know, white and ashy. It looks really cool. Of course, we already mentioned the mask. The mask is back. The mask makes all the difference in the world. I would go as far as to say that this Ermac is not the Ermac that we saw in the story. He was behaving very differently in the trailer from what I could see, but maybe they've just decided to tweak the character. Either way, this version of Ermac is much more appealing to me, and I can honestly say that they've done a good job in terms of the aesthetic and the appearance. Now, the design of the gameplay is what really drew me in here, because one of my major criticisms of Mortal Kombat, and you can really look at Scorpion and Sub-Zero for this, is that Mortal Kombat characters have supernatural abilities. They've got all of these cool moves, and they're rarely used in the gameplay, to the point where it turns into a strike throw sort of game. Now, I don't know how Ermac is actually going to play in a competitive landscape, but at the very least, the design of his moves really emphasize the fact that this guy controls multiple souls, and you can see the multiple souls throughout this trailer. You can see him utilizing a demon, you can see him utilizing some sort of undead woman. She gives him the ability to put some sort of soul shield around him. You can see him using burst attacks where souls come out of the ground, kind of like Scorpion and MKX, where they would hold you in place. He has his teleport, he has a burst move in the air. One of the things that I really liked about this as well is that when Ermac is attacking you, he is also using the souls. If you slow down the trailer at certain points, you can see the souls coming out in places that you wouldn't normally expect an attack to come out. For example, Ermac looks at you at one point in the trailer and a foot comes out and it hits you in the face. Even down to his grabs, you see the hands sort of like grabbing you around you, and it really just emphasizes that this guy has got tons of souls in his body. And when you're playing a character, you want to feel powerful, you want to look cool, you want the character's ability to really be shown on screen, and that's something that I think MK1 was really lacking. It's been called a peeled onion multiple times by myself. I've said multiple times this game is very bland, it didn't do what I thought they could have done. That is the complete opposite with Ermac. Now, just to briefly talk about Mavado, I do actually think it's very cool Mavado's in the game, but the reason I think it's cool is that they didn't make him an actual DLC character. He's just a cameo, because as much as I like the 3D era, Mavado is one of those throwaway characters, and this is probably the best thing about the cameo system, is being able to include characters that we all know nobody is going to pay for. So Mavado's inclusion as a cameo is something that I welcome. I saw some people putting up on Twitter, and I said to everybody I never thought I would see this guy again, but it makes complete sense for him to come in as a cameo. Now, I also like how multiple souls are shown on screen and the way that they are animated. Some of the parts of this trailer reminded me of The Mummy and The Mummy Returns with Imhotep, and how he would summon his undead army of Egyptian soldiers. It kind of gave me that vibe, and I really like that. The Mummy and The Mummy Returns are two of my favorite films. Also, I'd like to point out that the way he is animated in this trailer is really good. I hated the way they animated Peacemaker. I thought he looked weird, I thought he looked out of place. Even his combos look very boring, but that's not the case with Ermac at all. They've really gone balls to the wall. I don't know if they've been listening to the people that have been critical of their videos. If they have, then good. If they haven't and they've just gotten their act together, then, you know, whatever, as long as they're producing characters that people are going to be happy with, because ultimately we want people to be happy with Mortal Kombat. There's no point coming here and flaming the game when they are producing characters like this. I don't know how he's going to be in the gameplay. I don't know if he's going to be boring in terms of how you implement strategies with him. We don't know how that's going to go yet. But just the general aesthetic and the general design of this character is really good. I love the fact, like I said, that there are multiple different souls that you see on the screen. And I also like the fact that it has more of that horror element to it. Mortal Kombat has always been, to me, a fighting game that has crossed over into the supernatural / horror section of gaming. It's obviously got over the top gore. It's got very scary characters. It's always had witches and mages and undead people and demons. And I think the fact that they've included all of these spirits, that some of them look like they've been hanged, some of them are missing a torso, there's a massive demon, there's a weird undead lady that comes up behind him, there's some sort of weird entity that comes out of his body that sort of acts like a sort of projectile, there's these arms that come out of the ground to hold you in place, there's an undead spirit that holds you in the air, and even his super move summons these soldiers that again look like members of Imhotep's army. And so I really have nothing negative to say about this trailer. Props to NRS, it sounds like they actually listened, just down to the mask. The mask really tells me that they listened to some of the feedback and they're listening to the fact that we're not happy with some of the things in this game. Now, do I think that this character alone is going to save this game? No, unfortunately not. I still think that this game is going to be down in the dumps because one character can't carry an entire series or an entire franchise or an entire installment. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. If they are able to implement more characters like this whilst redesigning some characters that are pre-existing and maybe changing some of the balance in the game and some of the mechanics and adding a bit more nuance to it, MK1 could go down a road where even I am willing to say, okay, this has gotten to an acceptable point. This is a step in the right direction. The design of characters is especially important. We've said it multiple times that MKX really did a fantastic job of showing off the abilities of characters, and that was lost on MK11 when they slowed things down, and it was especially lost on MK1 when they basically gutted the characters and turned them into strike throw monsters. It was very, very boring. We're not seeing that from Ermac at all here. There's a lot to go over in this trailer. There's a lot of things that are being shown. The combos look very, very good. The voice actor for Ermac is very good. Like I said, there's not really much negative to say here. What I want to see from these characters in Mortal Kombat is them really showing off their abilities, and that is exactly what you see from Ermac in this. There are a number of spirits we've never seen with Ermac before, moves we've never seen with him before. In his normal attacks he's using his spirits, so you really get to get a sense of what kind of character he is. If this was a game that I could stomach to play, Ermac would probably be the character that I go to. Anyways guys, those were just my brief thoughts on it. Like I said, I don't think that this is going to save Mortal Kombat 1. We've just seen that the combo breaker numbers are not particularly great for it. I don't think Ermac is going to change that much, but I think over time, if NRS is able to produce characters like this and have interesting cameos, because Mavado does look somewhat interesting, then there may be a road back to earning some goodwill. There may not be a road back to getting the whole player base back because they did employ a lot of dirty practices, and for that reason I will not support this game, but it's good to see that maybe they're listening to consumers a little bit more. Like I said, the mask is a big deal because that tells me that they were actually listening to people, because that's one of the critiques that people had for Ermac. When they saw his ugly mug on that screen, people were not happy. Now just to end, I think the Fatality is really cool. It's very creative. It looks very painful. I showed it to somebody and they cringed, and that's what I want to see from Mortal Kombat. More of these horror-esque elements, more violence, push everything up to 100. Give characters loads of abilities, let them express their abilities in the gameplay, and you're not going to hear much bitching from me. So I've looked over the trailer several times guys, and for the final time, I do not have anything negative to say about this character. Props to NRS for this one. Hopefully they pump out more characters like this. Maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe this is a flash in the pan. I guess we will see. I don't know who's coming next. I guess it's Takeda. But that's all I really got guys. I hope you guys enjoy Ermac. I hope he's everything that I think he's going to be. And I guess we'll just continue paying attention to how this gets implemented. Although I don't have much faith in NRS in implementation. And I'm sure they're going to do something to annoy people. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt just because they dropped a fun trailer. I hope you guys have a good day. Let me know what you think of Ermac in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Take care and peace.